Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the February 2022 video for the zodiac sign of Pisces. I do recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on for you. My readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you any intuitive messages I receive, as well as the meaning of the tarot cards. We are going to run through all usual columns, which in the first column we're going to do a look at what's happened in the last few weeks and what's wrapping up for you. Column 2 will be general February. Column 3 will be money. Column 4 is love. And in the fifth and final column, it's a message from your future self or spirit guides. We're also going to do 3 yes or no questions, a healing note, and a crystal of the month for you. Let's go and jump in, Pisces, though, and kick things off. The first card that we have is efficiency. I love efficiency. Those of you that don't know, outside of this, I have a job and I do work in business efficiencies conveniently, but it's all about spending your time well and being more efficient in the things that you're doing. Life is all about getting more efficient. So love to see that for you. Hopefully you've had a rather efficient last few weeks or month. But let's see what cards come through and what messages we have. The first card that we have is the Strength card. Strength card's a good card. It's a card of self-love, unconditional love, self-respect. Some of you might have been respecting yourself by finding a more efficient way of doing things. This is also a card of courage. So you could be really pushing into a new chapter and encouraging yourself to move forward. The next card we have is the Empress. The Empress is a card of creation, abundance. It could also be a card of fertility and pregnancy. So some of you could have recently found out that your family is growing. Then at the bottom we have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a great card. This is a card of wishes coming true, material abundance, good health. So we do have a lot of abundance and creation running through in this column for you. Let's clarify though and see what we've got going on. The first clarifying card we have is the King of Swords. The King of Swords is very intentional, very strategic. It's long term. I think a lot of you have been thinking long term, what you want, how you're going to get there. The Strength card is encouraging you to have the courage. It's saying that you're balanced, you're loving yourself, you're in a position of unconditional love to accomplish what you want. The next card we have is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is a card of family. So again, we have the pregnancy card here, then another family card. So very good possibility some of you are pregnant or found out that you were pregnant. This is also a card of celebration though. So as you move into this new chapter of creation and abundance, I think a lot of you will be celebrating this change or this evolution. Then last but not least at the bottom here we have the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is a card of having to make a choice sometimes. It could also be weighing your options. I do feel like you guys had to make a choice, Pisces, to move forward with something, and that's going to carry you to where you want to go with that Nine of Cups there. Again, celebration, abundance, creativity coming through, which are all great things for you. Now let's take a look at February in general. We have the card expectation. I do believe that February is going to be exceeding your expectations. That's the message that's coming through loud and clear with that card. But let's see what we've got. So we have 2 major arcana. The first card we have is the Death card. Sometimes people see this card and get a little freaked out. It absolutely does not mean death. The Death card is a big change. It's an ending of something. It's time to move on. It's rebirth. It's transformation. So you are going to go through some sort of change. It's interesting because we were talking about moving towards abundance and creative energy creation in that first column. But this is like really wonderful change that's coming for you. You see the sun shining through in the back of those buildings there. This is like some sort of transformation that you need, and it's going to be life-changing. I think you're going to be moving into a point in life where your expectations are being exceeded. The next card we have is the Hangman. This is a card of kind of stagnant energy. Sometimes it's you're waiting for something before you can make your next move. You're literally just hanging there by the foot. However, if we flip this over, this is the position of the Fool, which I love. You know, Fool is new beginnings, fresh hope. So definitely it's coming. And then at the bottom here, we have the Eight of Cups. The The Eight of Cups is a card of withdrawing, retreating. You see these cups are stacked very nicely, but yet this person is walking away from them anyways. But it's like you have to move on to something better. Even though these 8 cups look really pretty, there's something better for you. Your expectations are going to be further exceeded. So I do feel like you're making the choice to move on. Possibly you've waited a while for this. It's been a little stagnant. You haven't had the information you've needed. But now you're going to go through this really major transformation, Pisces. Let's clarify this column though. The first card we have is the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is a card, sometimes of feeling unfulfilled. It can also be a surprise gift. I think, again, we were talking earlier that some of your expectations were not being met, so I'm not surprised to see that you were feeling unfulfilled. This fourth cup coming in, though, is like a surprise gift that could also be this transformation. Like, since you've been stagnant with the Hangman, you might not have felt like things were moving forward, so it could catch you as a surprise that we are moving forward now. The next card that we have is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is a card of speed. It's quick action, it's quick change, it's news coming in. This is great to see on top of the Hangman because, again, before you were hanging there by your foot, things weren't really moving, and now they are going to move for you, and they're going to move quite quickly. Then at the bottom we have the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is a low feelings card. It's a card of heartbreak, loss. It's sad feelings. Some of you could be sad about what you're leaving, but the grass is really green and it's going to be a great transformation for you. But that doesn't mean that you won't grieve the things that you're moving on from still. So just be aware that some of those feelings may come through, Pisces. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is all about money. So this could be career, finances, businesses you run, investments you have, really anything related to money. So the first card we have is the Moon card. The Moon card typically indicates a voluntary change. It's also very heavily focused on trusting your intuition. You see the face here inside of the Sun. So trusting your gut, trusting your intuition as things come up. As this change comes forward, make sure that you're looking within, having the information you need to make a good decision. We have the Queen of Wands, which is very confident, very self-assured. Again, we need to be confident. We need to self-assure about this decision, really trusting our intuition there. Then at the bottom, we have the Seven of Swords. This can be a card of theft or betrayal or dishonesty. But if you see this person's like picking up their swords and they're scooting away, they're moving on to something new. So I do think that in the money realm or possibly career, you're going to be moving on to something new. But you need to make sure you're trusting your intuition and self-assured before you make that move. So we have the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands to me is almost validating that this is the correct move. This is victory, award, recognition, good news, success. So you're going to be very successful trusting your gut, trusting your intuition through this change. We have the Two of Swords card. It's interesting because I told you had a decision to make, but we didn't necessarily have any decision cards, and now we do. The Two of Swords is indicating that there is some sort of decision to make. You need to, again, trust your intuition, be very thoughtful, be very self-assured, but it's going to be the right thing with that Six of Wands, that celebration card. More validation down here that this will be a good move for you with the Temperance card. This is a card of balance, harmony, self-control. We all want balance, work-life balance, financial balance. You get to move into a position where you're better balanced than you were before. Now, Pisces, let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to love. So this could be family, relationships, children, really anything that we associate with love. The first card that we have is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a card of tradition. It's conventional. It's also a card of expectations, which is interesting because you had an expectations card earlier. It could be conformity. What I'm getting is like some of you could be getting pressured into like handling your relationship XYZ, something very traditional. There could be some pressure from family if you're doing something out of the normal or outside of tradition. This could also be an indicator, though, that your relationship is exceeding your expectations as well. Again, exceeding expectations has come up for you. Then we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is very healing, very supportive, very nurturing. This is like speaking to a family member, it feels. I'm not sure why that's coming through that way, but it feels like there's somebody that's nurturing you at this time, really helping you heal, helping you be supported. It could be your significant other, but it feels like family member for some reason versus significant other. And then at the bottom we have the Six of Pentacles. This is a card of giving or receiving help. It's a card of generosity. Again, I feel like you're getting help. You're being nurtured and supported by whoever this person is. You could be on the giving end of generosity as well, but it does feel like it's somebody helping you. Let's clarify this though and see what messages we have. The first card that we have is the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is mastering your craft. It's about hard work. It's enjoying what you do. It's like working hard for something. Going back to like family kind of pressuring you to do a certain thing, I feel like you might have a family member that's like, I worked really hard for you to do this one thing this way. And it might not be the way that you want to do it. That's the message that's coming through. It seems kind of odd, but I think that that will resonate with some of you. Also, on the note of the Hierophant being regarding expectations, I feel like you have worked hard to get yourself to the point where you have healthy expectations, Pisces. That too might sound weird, but it's like you've worked hard to get yourself into this state where you can be in a happy, healthy relationship. So I hope you can reflect, acknowledge, and kind of pat yourself on the back for that. The next card we have here is the Empress. The Empress is again a card of pregnancy and fertility. We talked about that a little bit earlier because we had the Empress again straight across. It is also a card of creation and abundance. It's on top of the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is again that nurturing, healing, supporting. I feel like you're being supported by family. I want to say this is a mom for some of you that's like kind of coming in to comfort you and support you and nurture you at this time. It would make sense because the Empress is a very motherly card as well. And definitely for some of you, this could be a card of fertility. Then at the bottom here, we have the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is a card sometimes of ill health or worry or isolation. Some of you could have been feeling alone, and that's why this generosity, Six of Pentacles, giving or receiving help's coming in. Like if you're feeling isolated or you're feeling alone, someone's kind of like swooping in to give you support and care for you. Financial loss is not resonating for this card in this column. It could also be worry though. Like for those of you that are giving help, I feel like you've been worried about somebody in your close circle, hence the generosity and the giving help card. Now let's move into our fifth and final column, which is a message from your future self or spirit guides. So something for you to take into the month of February with you. We have the card of space. I've actually seen this card a lot today, which is interesting, or for the month of February, which I don't necessarily always do. Space is about giving yourself space and time to process and let things happen as they need. It's really about giving yourself space. It doesn't mean you need to isolate, but it's like you don't need to rush either. Take your time, catch your breath, process things that are happening, Pisces. Let's further clarify this message though and see what we've got going on. Right off the bat, we do have some pretty emotional cards. What I was just saying with that space card about giving yourself space and time to process emotions. Sometimes we're rushing through life and we don't have time to stop and think about what's going on or even be able to feel the feels, if you will. But let's read through these. The first card that we have is the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups can be a card of pretty low emotion. It's sometimes loss, regret, grief. If you see this person, they're dressed in black, their head's hanging low, and they're looking down at these three spilled cups, and they're kind of grieving these three spilled cups. Again, I feel like there are some emotions that maybe you just haven't had an opportunity yet to process, Pisces, but we're going to clarify and see. I don't think that February is going to be a sad month for you or anything, but I'm getting the message that there's some unprocessed feelings there. The next card that we have is the Devil card. This is interesting because there are unique emotions associated with the Devil card as well. This can be a card of addiction, but that's not really what's coming through. This is more of a card of like envy or materialism or obsession. Maybe you're beginning to obsess like over something because you weren't able to process those feelings and you weren't able to process what was going on. But this is definitely a firm reminder to not be envious, not to be materialistic, and not to be obsessive about things that are going on. Give yourself space, but not too much space. You don't want to get into that state of mind either. The next card that we have is the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is a card of self-defense and having to protect yourself against competition. You see yourself standing on this hill with your one wand, but then look at all these other wands that are trying to hit you. So some of you could be in a position where you've been having to defend yourself, and space would come into play from this to kind of removing yourself from the situation. Again, it doesn't mean isolating, but it means giving yourself space where you're not constantly under fire, you're not constantly defending yourself. Let's clarify and see what other messages we have here. The first card we have for clarifying is the Tower moment. The Tower moment is almost always an unwanted change. So it makes sense that we have that Five of Cups, sad feeling, possibly grieving. There's maybe going to be a change that happens for you, Pisces, in February that you just weren't ready for, didn't play out exactly the way you wanted. And that could be those sad feelings that you're feeling. The next card we have is the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is oftentimes not a very good relationship. This person is like a bully, or it could be theft or violence. It's typically some sort of not very good relationship. Paired with the Devil card, we definitely want to be careful there to make sure that we're staying away from people that have those like addiction problems or that greed or that materialism. This is very much so being a warning of who you surround yourself with, because we oftentimes take on those traits and those feelings of those other people. So don't get trapped in those unhealthy relationships and that obsessive materialistic behavior associated with the Devil card. Makes perfect sense tying it back to the Space card about spacing yourself out, separating from those people, not getting caught in that cycle. Then we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is a card of nightmare, anxiety, grief. So you see this person is actually sitting up in bed. I do feel like that some of you have been like defending yourself for feeling this competition, and it's starting to keep you awake at night. Like you're tired of having to defend yourself. You're tired of having the competition. It makes total sense that we have the Nine of Swords here because those are things that are very exhausting. So again, give yourself space, remove yourself from the situation. Don't get caught up in these things. Now at this point in time, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask 3 yes or no questions. We're going to use the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck. If you don't have 3 questions in mind, you can pause this video and think of those 3 questions really quick. But for question number 1, we have the 7 of Clubs. This is the number 20 card. That's going to be a yes. Question number 2, we have the 5 of Clubs. This is number 33 card. That is also a yes. And then for question number 3, we have the Ace of Hearts. This is number 11 card. This is a yes also. So yes, yes, yes across the board, Pisces. We're also going to pull a card from the Healing Stones deck. This is a crystal to keep with you through the month of February. Keep it in your pocket, put it on your nightstand, put it on your desk at work. The crystal that you have is calcite. I love calcite. This gives you courage. This encourages growth. This helps with lethargy, like giving you more energy. It gives you drive and it gives you new ideas. And then last but not least, we're going to do a note from the Healing Notes deck because we can all use more healing. The message we have: live your life from your heart, share from your heart, and your story will touch and heal people's souls. Thank you so much, Pisces, for tuning in, watching, and listening. I hope that you have a wonderful February. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post videos in the future. Also, if you feel inclined, I did include my Venmo in the comments box if you'd like to make a donation. But thank you again, Pisces, and have a wonderful February.